Ducktalks is part of Res TV's network of podcasts. Check out res.tv for other great podcasts.
¡Ja! ¡Saludos, amigos! Surely you remember old Panchito and Jose.
Os Pachigos! Oh, last time we saw you, you were just little eggs. Hey, remember when you insisted you could juggle the eggs?
And you dropped one.
It's the week of Monday, November 12th, and you're listening to episode 49 of Ducktalks. On this week's episode of Ducktalks, we have Storkules and Duckburg and Last Christmas discussion. Gamestop Disney Afternoon mystery boxes, that's kind of a mouthful. And of course, we're going to review The Town Where Everyone Was Nice. Hey everyone, I'm one of your hosts. My name is Mitch, and joining me, I have Pirate Steven and Josh.
Ahoy.
Hey guys.
What's up, fellas? How are you doing?
Great. It's a big news day. It always is on Mondays.
Isn't that crazy? It's almost like people know. And I know that's not the case. We don't have a big head about things like that. But it's funny how it happens. Maybe we just picked the right day. It's kind of like, I get kind of frustrated on Fridays because we're so excited about a new episode of Ducktales coming out on Saturday morning. And then we get news about next week's episode. And I'm just like, I don't know how to deal with this. Why can't this just wait till Monday? And then we'd have stuff to talk about on the episode of the podcast anyway. This is Duck Talks, and if you couldn't tell, we talk about Ducktales. We like to talk about the reboot, and we like to talk about the Disney Afternoon, which made a lot of that news this week. We're definitely going to be talking about some things you may have heard about this week, having to do with GameStop and Funko. But before we get to that, we have a few other things to talk about. But we are going to begin on a little bit of a somber note. This is Monday, November the 12th, and the news broke earlier today that the legendary Stan Lee has passed away. And I know Stan Lee's not directly connected to DuckTales or maybe not even the Disney Afternoon in any way that I can think of at the moment, but he's such a pivotal part of my childhood, and I'm sure you guys as well. I know you love the Marvel movies as much as I do, and I know we've talked comic books before. Man, some of the first comics that I read were Spider-Man and the X-Men, and it was really conflicting. I've never really felt the loss of a celebrity like I have Stan Lee today.
I kind of think of him as like the Walt Disney of my time.
Yeah.
We're not that old. We're old, but we don't know what it was like to be around when Walt was still alive and see what he did. And Stanley's just a legend. Everything he did with the great characters he made has just brought so much happiness to myself and my family and so many of my friends. So he will be missed. I'm glad his legacy will live on forever, though. His characters will live on, and we'll get. I heard he already recorded a lot of his cameos for future movies, so I'm sure that will always be something to look for and to give a smile.
So the news about Stan Lee hits pretty hard. I mean, I grew up watching DuckTales and on Disney Afternoon, but I also grew up watching and reading Marvel comics, and so it's a big part of my childhood of what he created and what his I guess legacy has brought to us, and so it is sad news. And I mean he was getting a lot older, and we knew that at some point this would happen, but it is very sad news, and I hope that the family and the Marvel community can take this well and just remember him for what he did.
Yeah, we definitely want to celebrate his life, not just his creations. I mean, I know for us, I don't know Stan Lee personally. I never actually even got to meet him. Missed my opportunity at Dragon Con a couple of years ago. But the individual. I mean, there's a lot to celebrate there. I know there's always been a lot of talk about his heart for fandom and for Marvel fans, and he always went out of his way to do things that he thought would be special for comic fans. So he leaves we've used the word a few times already. He leaves a really good legacy, and 95 years old, just a phenomenal life. I had already seen a few documentaries on the life of Stan Lee, but I'm going to be interested in the next few days of taking a look at those. I think I've got a couple. Maybe the first X-Men DVD came with one, I think. I had someone message me at work and asked me if I'd seen it, and my only response was crushed. Because really, it was one of those moments where I just, like I said, the first time that a celebrity death has kind of hit me, and it's because his work and the things he did, reading his letters, the soapbox and all of those things over the years. Anytime Stan Lee wrote something to fans, I got to read it, I always enjoyed it. He was a fun guy who really loved what he did. So, and I'm very grateful that he got to live to see the success of the Marvel movies. I mean, we've 10 years into the Marvel movies, and they just dominate not just the box office, but like Pirate said, his family, his kids enjoy these same characters that he grew up with. They're going to be timeless. They are timeless, and it's so amazing. So we just wanted to take a moment and just kind of say that the industry feels a great loss, and Excelsior, my good man, Excelsior. Well, let's take a look at some Ducktales news that broke this week. Some of this broke a little close to the end of our last episode, but it's a week between recordings, so we're gonna back up to it and take a look at the image that was released for Storkules and Duckburg. I don't know why I keep hesitating when I say that. Storkules and Duckburg. That's better.
Storkules and Duckburg.
Okay, I like Josh's better.
I want it to be epic sounding.
It is epic. It's going to be an epic episode. So this is going to air this weekend. That's Saturday, November 17th at 7:30. Should be able to catch it on the Disney Now app at some point. We won't speculate when. We do have a description. We'll read that. Louis recruits Storkules for his professional monster extermination business, while Storkules faces his greatest challenge, being Donald's roommate. I actually expected there to be some build up to this whole professional monster extermination business, but it sounds like it's going to begin in this episode. I figured we'd get it before now, but yeah. So Louis starting a monster extermination business, and if you're going to start a monster extermination business, of course you go to a Greek god to be on your side, right?
I mean, why not?
I mean, we know Louis is the thinker. He's the planner. He sees all the pieces, and he says, "You know who I need on my team? Storkules. I'm going to have him bunk with Donald." So I guess Storkules is staying on the boat because the boat's been repaired. We've seen the boat in game night. So this image is exciting as well because at first I wasn't sure what we were seeing, obviously an arcade, but then I took a look at Huey, and although most people were commenting on his rose-colored glasses, not sure what that's about, I focused in on his hat. That's a Funzo's hat. We're going back to Funzo's.
Yeah, it is interesting that they have him wearing a Funzo's hat. I don't know if he's trying to be like in disguise. Maybe he's trying to be a sidekick for Storkules. I don't know.
Hadn't thought of that. I bet it is a disguise. Maybe that's what the glasses are about too. So he's trying to not, to be kind of inconspicuous.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you look at Louis, he's got a crown on his head, and the crown says Louis Inc. So apparently this is his uniform.
What's that comic? Is it the Archie comic that has the crown on one of the characters?
Jughead?
Jughead.
Jughead. Is that the name of the comic? Or is that the character?
Character.
His character. Oh. Yeah, I think there have been comics named that too, but that's the character.
Just reminds me of that. Crap.
Any predictions on this episode, Pirate?
Storkules will be in this one. Faux show.
I think you're right. I think it'll be a good episode. Looking forward to seeing some adventure. I'm wondering what the monster hunting is all about. So we've not really had monsters in Duckburg yet, other than, I take it back, the premiere. We had the sea monster that followed Glomgold from Atlantis. Things totally cursed.
We had Bigfoot, and we've had a couple in the original Storkules episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were a couple at Ithaquack. Well, that's coming this weekend. We'll know more soon. I am excited about them going back to Funzos. I really enjoyed that episode. We also... Oh, go ahead.
So I was going to say, Storkules likes to brings up Della all the time, so maybe they'll start to talk about Della again.
And you know he's going to use Louie's real name a few times. I hope a lot. Llewellyn.
Llewellyn Inc.
Now, this week we also got multiple images from the supposed, I guess I mean to say, Christmas episode. Now has a title, Last Christmas, and finally gets a description as well. And that description says, in a nod to Mickey's Christmas Carol, Scrooge avoids the pressure of the holidays by traveling back in time with a trio of fun-loving ghosts to crash history's greatest Christmas parties instead. Meanwhile, time-lost Dewey teams up with young Donald Duck to find his mom on Christmas. Been a little controversy around this description. I don't know if you all saw it. But that last sentence, meanwhile, time-lost Dewey teams up with young Donald Duck to find his mom on Christmas. I automatically assumed we were talking about Della Duck. But immediately after posting something about it, we had comments of people saying, is it Della or is it Hortense? And really, the way the sentence is structured, it might actually be Hortense.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, he's trying to find Donald's mom, right?
That's the way it very well could read.
And now we also might go in that direction. We might also see Donald's dad, Quackmore, and he was on Webby's board. Or one of her boards.
Right, the first board. Yeah, I find it interesting. I mean, I was assuming Della. I still feel like it could be Della. The more I look at the sentence, I think it could be Donald's mom, which is Hortense. But it would be cool to see a young Donald and Della together on the show. As much as I'd like to see Hortense, I almost feel like I'd rather see Della in this episode. And all the comic fans cringed. But we also got some images beyond that. We know that based on the description here, we've got some nods to Mickey's Christmas Carol. And of course, you called it, Pirate. I think you noticed this image when we didn't even have it. Didn't even have it in my notes. You remembered seeing it. So we've got the ghosts of past, present, and future. And so that's who Scrooge is apparently jumping around time with to crash the greatest Christmas parties. If you look at that first image that I have in our notes, you'll see that Scrooge has something above his head.
Little mistletoe thing? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So Scrooge is running around with mistletoe above his head. What's that all about? You think the party he's trying to crash is one where Goldie's at or something?
I don't know. I feel like it's going to be, obviously it's a play on the Christmas Carol, but I think it's going to go on its own twist, and I think it just maybe going to be more themed towards the Christmas Carol, but then kind of have it go its own way based upon the images that we've seen.
I just hope Santa shows up at some point.
Yeah, we need to know what happened between him and Santa.
So check this out. Here's my prediction. And I just come up with this. I've put absolutely no thought into it. So if it's horrible, that's why. What if these three individuals are to Scrooge what the Caballeros were for Donald? What if these are buddies of his? Like, he already knows them. I mean, obviously. And they're like good pals that get together normally on Christmas. And that's why he was running off on Christmas last year, is because he didn't want to go with them. But this year, they're going to go do something fun. I think it's funny that the one ghost is a cricket, or at least I'm assuming a cricket or a grasshopper. It's green, so.
Well, he's got a umbrella,
Uh-huh.
which, I mean, we know Jiminy Cricket's got an umbrella, but he also has wings.
And they ditched the
So-
top hat.
I just top hat.
So we'll see. There was a little bit of confusion on this episode. It originally was marked for release on Friday, November 30th, but they have since corrected it to show Saturday, December 1st. There was something on Disney's press site about how this episode would air all month long. So I would expect to see this on there a lot. If you're not watching on Disney now, you're probably going to get a lot of opportunities to watch it anyway. And of course, 7:30 a.m. is the time slot. So should be good.
The other Christmassy episode was the Mount Everest one, so I'm sure that one will air all month as well.
Really great episode. We were watching it the other day, and Scrooge's whole contempt for, and I can't think of his name, the guy who almost made it up the mountain, is pretty hilarious all throughout that episode. Good one to watch. Hey, let's take a look at some Duck merch. First things first, this week, is this tomorrow?
Tuesday, yeah, the
Tuesday.
13th.
All right. So, yeah, so the 13th, this is past Tuesday for all of you. Don Rosa Volume 10 releases. Now, this is the final volume that we know of, unless they do some kind of wrap-up volume that's not going to include comics, which would be odd. This is the final volume of the Don Rosa collection, or the Don Rosa library, and it's called The Old Castle's Other Secret. Got me pretty excited. Looking forward to reading this one. I'm going to continue reading in order for those who maybe haven't been following our Beyond Ducktales series over on Discord. We have been reading through Fantagraphics' Don Rosa library. We are currently on Volume 8, which we will meet on Discord and discuss next Monday. But having read through Don Rosa's work and read, I can't remember the name of the issues, but during the life and times of Scrooge McDuck, we learned a little bit about the McDuck clan and the ghost in the castle. So I'm assuming the old castle's other secret has to do with Castle McDuck.
Yeah, I actually read ahead. Fantagraphics, awesome company. I love them so much. They're great partners with us in the show, and they give me an advanced copy of Volume 10 to read. And it, I haven't read Volume 9, but this one is definitely my favorite, I think, of all of them. It has some really great stories. The castle one that you mentioned was, it's very, very, there's a lot of different tones and stuff from there that they put in that Ducktales episode, where they went to visit Fergus and Donnie. They're not in that issue, but a lot of the same stuff where they're looking for treasure at the castle is in this one. So there's also a really great Three Caballeros story, which after watching this past episode of DuckTales, I mean, the hype is through the roof for Three Caballeros, and the issue and the story from that is in this Volume 10, which is great. There's also a Three Caballeros story in Volume 9 as well,
which is already out. You can get a hold of that. Well, actually, by the time you listen to this, they're both out. Get a hold of both of them. Are these available, or are these supposed to be available in a box set? I know those are often a better value.
Yeah, a box set of with volume 9 and 10 is released as well tomorrow, or sorry, the 13th. And it, you can usually get, because they retail for $30 a piece, but you can get them for, I think, $20 a piece, or maybe even $15 a piece if you get them in a bulk box set.
And we're going to have a blog release tomorrow, I believe you said, and that will include links to Amazon, who usually have the best values on these, that I've seen anyway.
Yeah, and one other story I wanted to bring up from Volume 10, it's do you remember the movie Inception?
Yes.
Had
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio, yeah. So Leonardo DiCaprio goes into people's dreams in that movie. And this, even in Don's notes, he says he came, like, there's an issue in a story where Donald and the Big Beagle Boys go into Scrooge's head. And it's just like the movie Inception, except this comic came out years beforehand. So a lot of people say that maybe they got the idea from Don for that one.
Well, that'd be cool. I have to check that out too. I'm looking forward to getting to this. I'm going to finish. I've started 8. I'm really looking forward to a couple of stories that I know are in 8. I know when we spoke with Morgan Jekyll last July, I can't remember, sometime this past summer, he mentioned a story that's in. It's the name of this. Hold on. It's the name of Volume 8. The dinosaur story. I know he said it was one of his favorites, and also Letter from Home. And I think both of those are in Volume 8. Possibly. Don't hold me to that. Check before you buy. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to a couple of stories in 8, looking forward to getting to the cabs in 9, and you've already got me excited about 10.
So good, so good.
And after that, I'll take another step backwards and start trying to read through Carl Barks' work.
Yeah, it's been a fun journey in the Don Rosa trail. We read through, by the time this month's over, we will have read through all 88 of his stories in like 6 months. So, and
they are every bit as spectacular as everyone told us.
Yeah,
we were impressed.
I like how I used to say when I saw Don at the convention, he had the not Ducktales sign, and we made fun of it, but it was kind of like talking about us because we didn't know all this great material, and now we can go back and tell them that sign's not for us anymore. Mm-hmm. And you should quiz us, Don, because we know your stuff.
Yeah, I feel like he might have quizzed me some.
I'm sure he passed.
I was talking about some of the Easter eggs that were in the DuckTales episodes that I felt like were Don Rosa Easter eggs from what I knew at the time, which wasn't a whole lot. I hadn't read a lot of his stories. And I mentioned that they even used the part of, from Life and Times where Fergus gave the dime to the man with the muddy boots. And I was like, whatever his name was, what was his name? And I looked at him, he goes, I don't know. What was his name? I was like, it's Bert. It was Bert. So I really think he was quizzing me.
Nice.
That or he forgot Bert's name. It is Bert, isn't it? Or did I totally get that wrong? Who knows? Hey, something that's not in our notes, just before I move on, Volume 10 out this week. You can check out our blog and order it from Amazon. That supports our show, by the way. We're an Amazon affiliate. That means that if you ever go to Ducktalks, follow a link to Amazon and purchase something, you support the show at no additional cost. So we just want to, maybe you've never heard that before. That's why we always post stuff to Amazon, and because that's where we mostly buy stuff like this anyway. I've only seen one issue of the Fantagraphics books in my local bookstore. And it was funny enough. Is it Escape from Bear Mountain? Christmas on Bear Mountain. It's Christmas from Bear Mountain, which I kept going, no, I don't want to start with Volume 5 because you guys should know me by now. I have to start with Volume 1. And I didn't know any better. I kept, looking and waiting because if I walked in and they had it, I'd probably walk out with it. Volume 1. Didn't know that they didn't start with Volume 1. Anyway, most of the time when we buy stuff like this, we buy it from Amazon anyway, so it just made sense. Moving on to something else. I didn't put this in the notes, but this past week we had a lot of Disney Duck comics come out. Ducktales issue 14 came out this past Wednesday. Uncle Scrooge My First Millions issue 2 came out, and the Disney Afternoon Giant #1 came out. So it was a big week for DuckTales and Disney Ducks. Some great stories. Issue 14 of DuckTales, I guess I can kind of give a spoiler. You guys haven't read it yet, have you?
No, not yet.
Okay, so I'll do a spoiler-free review. It was nothing like what I expected. Completely caught off guard by the story. It is a 2-parter, so both parts are in this issue. You don't have to wait for the next issue. There's not 2 different stories. It's a single story, cover to cover. It was good. It had Beakley in it, and fun story. I won't say anything else. You guys should check that out, and you should probably. You should be able to find it on, not newsstands, comic stands. Uncle Scrooge, My First Millions, #2. I reviewed the first issue a month ago. It's a great story. I've had a lot of fun with it. I've enjoyed it. It's an Italian comic, I believe, that's being published for the first time in the U.S. I know you can find all 5 issues. I think it's 5 issues over at Comixology because they already have it available. But if you're wanting to get them on paper, IDW is releasing them each month, going to the end of this year. And the second issue was a lot of fun. It was a cool story. It is a departure from the Scrooge that I know, having read the Don Rosa stories. I know in the first issue there was some... Scrooge talked a lot about luck, and I was a little uncomfortable with that and understood what all you duck nerds were talking about when you would say foul on calling it a lucky dime and stuff like that, because it has nothing to do with luck when it comes to Scrooge. See, we're becoming those fans. And in the Disney Afternoon Giant 1, I really enjoyed this. When I started reading it, the first story is a DuckTales story, and the second story is a Rescue Rangers story. That DuckTales story, when I first started it, I was like, everyone's crazy. This is awesome. I don't know why everybody says it's out of character and weird. About midway through, I was like, wait a minute. These are not the characters I know. There was some things going on that did feel a little odd. I think it's going to be a fun story. You got to kind of disconnect it. This is not the... it's not Don Rosa. It's not Carl Barks. It's a little bit of the 80s cartoon. And then, so yeah, it was fun. The art's really, really awesome. I really enjoyed it. Rescue Rangers story was loads of fun. Check this out. It is, the other 2 are $3.99. Disney Afternoon Giant is $5.99 because you are getting 2 comics in one. And the cover is a James Silvani cover. I don't know if this was a used cover or if this is the first time it's actually been printed, but it's cool.
I think that was from DuckTales #1.
Okay.
One of the variants.
And Rocker Duck was in it, which was a surprise for me. Wasn't expecting that because I don't know the character. Hey, before we move to the big item, I think, for the week, do we want to talk about the Scrooge Mystery? Because are pre-orders up on that? Like, are they starting to ship? Have you looked any further into it?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Well, actually, I was just looking on the website, and you are able to order the DVD version of it, and it says that there's less than 10 left. But the Blu-ray version of it is still showing as pre-order.
Okay, so 10 left on the DVD for $25, and pre-order is available for Scrooge Mystery, the collector's edition. Now I know the Blu-ray has a ton of extras included with it. So it sounds like a good value.
The DVD does as well. They used to have four. Used to have 4 different versions. On the website. 2 were like the collector's editions that had bonus features, and then 2 were just straight up the movie.
Okay.
And it looks like he probably thought that was too much to manage. So they got rid of the just the movie versions, and they're both the collector's editions that are available.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it here on the website. So the film is 116 minutes, and it's a documentary about duck artist Don Rosa. And then there's a making of, which is 26 minutes, an alternate ending, a look at the other secret stories Don Rosa never got to publish. Oh, wow. Oh, man, that's worth the money right there. Alternate cuts, 2 scenes with a different twist. Deleted scenes, which is 4 interviews that did not make the cut. Extended scenes, pre-interviews, trailers, bloopers, and photo album. So, looks good. And I guess we need to keep a watch out for that Blu-ray pre-order to become available.
Yeah, and we'll have Morgan on the show probably in December, right around the time we finish reading all the Don Rosa stories.
Yeah, that'll be fun because he really prompted us to start reading the Fantagraphics collection. Before that, we were like, we'll wait for Life and Times to come out in January or February. And he's like, no, go read it. I'm glad he did. And I look forward to talking with him again. We'll have him on soon. All right, are you guys ready to talk about some pops? We've already talked like 30 minutes. I imagine this conversation will take 30 minutes and then 30 minutes to talk about Three Cabs. This is going to be our longest episode ever. Today, November 12th, news broke of something both amazing and devastating. In that GameStop and Funko have partnered to produce a line, or to continue the line of Disney Afternoon Pops, by adding to the Darkwing Duck series and the Tailspin series and the Gargoyle series, and maybe to kick off Goof Troop and Rescue Ranger series. And man, that's exciting until you read that it's in mystery boxes and you don't know what you're getting and they're $20. Pirate, can you make me feel better about this?
There's nothing really to feel better about it on your wallet. I mean, it's great that. So let's do a retro rewind here. So we found out that Black Friday GameStop was going to start having mystery boxes. They did the same thing last year, where they would have, for $20 you bought a mystery box. You don't know what's in it. There's a pop. There's a lanyard. And that there is a pair of socks. That was last year's. And it was themed, the pops were themed for it was kind of like a gaming box where the character was in 8-bit form. I did a blog about it, you can check them out from last year, but everything about it was the 8-bit pops. So there were kind of mixed reactions. I don't know if they really sold that well or not. They're actually still available at half the price, at $10, if people wanted to buy them from last year. Same thing could happen this year with these boxes, but it's something. It's like a gamble. How bad do you need these to have a complete set or not? To wait for them to go on that much of a sale.
But they're random.
They are random. They are random. So they announced. They didn't really announce. Someone leaked. A GameStop somewhere got a shipment of boxes that had the retro TV box, is what they were called. And I heard that, and I was kind of like, that could be really anything. Not thinking it was Disney Afternoon at all.
No, like Mr. Ed, Addams Family.
Yeah, we're not really retro. We're still young, man. And then the first leaked, somebody opened up a box, which you're not really supposed to when you get these. Poor GameStop employee, I'm sure doesn't have a job now. But they opened a couple boxes up, and the first box that was leaked had Max Goof from Goof Troop in it. And
it says Goof Troop, just to be clear.
It does say Goof Troop. It's the official first Goof Troop pop released pop figure. And it looks awesome. And I know a lot of people, out of all the ones that have been released, I think this is definitely a popular one. They're like, I only want Max Goof. Well, that's great. You're not guaranteed just Max Goof. So,
and it has the sticker that says only at GameStop. So are we to assume that this pop will only be available at GameStop? And what do you think the likelihood that it's
This pop
only
will
available in this box?
This particular pop will only be at GameStop. That doesn't mean that a variant of Max wearing a different shirt, a backwards hat, a skateboard in his hand, or something will be released eventually. I feel like a Tales Goof Troop series will eventually be released at some point next year. So
yeah, they could give him a skateboard to hold in his right hand, and that would totally work because that was a big part of that show.
Yeah, and then
skateboards were a big part of all of our lives back then.
That's how they get around exclusives. Any little thing, like I know they'll have like, oh, Snow White's holding an apple in this one. It's exclusive to this store, but then they have a different one where she's not holding an apple, and they can get that anywhere. So, after I saw that, I was kind of like, well, what's going on here? Is this going to be a Goof Troop mystery box where we're going to get Pete in one and Goofy in one and Peg in one? But then the second box that was revealed was Megavolt, which is extremely exciting. Because I've wanted more Darkwing Duck villains ever since I started getting the initial Funko Pop series of Darkwing Duck. And the fact that they have released Megavolt gives me good vibes and feelings that they'll really release Bushroot and Quacker Jack and the Liquidator down the line as well. What do y'all think?
I think they're listening because we've been asking for this ever since we got the Darkwing Pops.
We sure have. And we should say also, you're not just going to pop in this box. And we don't know how much it's going to be. It could be $20, $25, $30. You're getting 5 items. You're probably going to throw some of the items away. Or
there's a Goof Troop pin, too.
There's a Goof Troop button, a small button. And then there is Tom from Tom and Jerry, who's the cat. There's a plush of him, which, let me say, if you're going to buy, let's say you go into a store and you buy 5 of these mystery boxes, you can have 5 Tom plushes. So hopefully you have people to give those to. There's also a Pez dispenser. Pez dispenser, which Funko started making Pez dispensers, which is, I mean, you have the little candies in it, and then it's like a Funko Pop figure head that dispenses the candies. They've been pretty popular, and these are cereal brand ad characters, which they're very popular and collectible. I'm not interested in these. But if you get stuck with these, I'm sure you can find somebody to sell or trade to. And then
before you go to the next pop, I am very excited about this pop. It looks phenomenal, and I've been wanting more Darkwing villains. I don't know where I'm going to put him because my case is already full. I don't know.
You get another case, man.
Right, but I like having all my Duck characters together. I guess maybe I can remove Negatron and move him to another one and put Megavolt there. I'm not sure.
We're just playing for the future because there'll be more Ducktales or something down the line, and you'll have to get a new one anyway.
Well, that's part of what excites me is that they can continue the series that we've already seen. So, like you said, maybe we get that Clear Liquidator, and maybe we get Bushroot and these other characters. I'd really like to know what's the chances that, and I know you can't answer this and nobody knows right now, that we get another Megavolt that's not this exclusive. Because
I don't know. That's what worries me is that
because if I pay $20 or $30 on this box and then there's another one that I would have been happy with.
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be another Megavolt. I think there's a good chance. I've said this before that I feel like there might be a chase version that glows in the dark.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there'll be another one besides this one.
Yeah, I don't
find out.
Things. I think that same thing. I think this is going to be the only chance we're going to get Megavolt, and it kind of makes me wonder if the other villains that we were hoping to get for Darkwing Duck are going to be exclusives as well, either at a different retailer or at a convention, which kind of worries me a little bit.
Negatron was convention, and Negaduck was
Comic book shops.
Comic book shops.
Specialty series.
So this would be a first for the Darkwing series. So yeah, it could happen. Man. Anyway, that next pop. I'm so conflicted on this.
Wildcat, which that one is one I was not expecting at all. Wildcat was featured on the back of the Baloo and the Louie Disney Afternoon action figure in the promotion. So I was kind of like, why do you have Wildcat in there? But the fact that they made a Funko Pop of him was very interesting. And that's what we kind of hate on these mystery boxes, but would they have made a Wildcat Funko Pop without the mystery box? Who knows?
True. I am very excited about all three of these pops. And honestly, as much as I don't like the mystery box idea, at this point, we got these just 3 home runs for me. If I opened a box and got one of these 3, I'd be thrilled. And at this point, I was like, you know what? This could be a good thing. I'd be totally all right if it's all going to be Disney Afternoon.
And also at this point, this is the 9th Tailspin Funko Pop, if you include like the different chases and the
Pink Shirt Louie
exclusives. Yeah. And not one Don Carnage. I would have thought Don Carnage would have been made before Wildcat, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming. He's got to be coming. At this point, we got Wildcat. I think we could get anybody.
Yeah, so that's
and I'm not hating because I love Wildcat.
That was the 3rd leak. And then the 4th leak was Angela from Gargoyles, which I know we're not, we love Gargoyles, the series, but we're not too, our Gargoyles knowledge isn't as high as all the rest of the shows. But this was the last character from the Gargoyles that is a gargoyle that wasn't made in the standard Funko Pop series that was released during the summer.
Now, the one that was leaked is a chase version of her. And
the chase one, which is the stone variant.
Yeah.
Which is I think the stone variant ones look cooler than the painted ones. So
they're very cool.
That's gonna be a popular pop, and we don't know if it's just the chase stone one and not a regular in these boxes, or hopefully we'll figure that out before Black Friday.
We will definitely stay on top of it.
But I feel like this is the one that if I didn't get this one, I wouldn't be upset.
That's where I'm at as well. And if I did get the non-chase version of this one, I might be a little upset. I mean, no offense to you Gargoyle fans. I enjoyed the show, but I don't really remember this character. I think she was added later. Like maybe she was part of the story as missing or something. I can't remember.
Well, I was reading up on her because I couldn't remember either. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the show, and it's been out since I don't know how many years now.
10 seconds.
But,
they've got 10 seconds. Skip ahead. Okay, go ahead.
But she is supposed to be, I think, the daughter of what's her name? I can't say her name. Demona. That's how you say her name. It's supposed to be her daughter.
Really?
So then the 5th pop that was leaked was another cool one this is the first one from this series, and that's a Rescue Rangers pop, and that was Monterey Jack.
Oh, man, and it looks glorious.
And just like the Max Goof one, I feel like since this series hasn't really been released in a wide release yet, I feel like they'll make another Monterey Jack. This one he's holding a cheese, but they could also make like a Monterey Jack package with zipper, or flocked Monterey Jack or something to have more of him out there, because they're going to want to release Chip and Dale and Gadget at some point, and they don't want to anger people that won't have Monterey Jack from that.
And cheese is a big part of this character. I mean, it's in his name, right? So obviously the piece of cheese makes sense. But I'm looking at it, and as I look at the pop, I'm thinking, man, zipper would be perfect on that hand instead of that piece of cheese. That's got to be what the regular pop would be. I don't want to hate on these because 4 out of 5, I am extremely excited for these. And if they were just pops that were going to be available, even exclusives at $15, I tell you, I'm getting all 3. But at this point, I'm a little worried about trying to buy 3, especially if there's chases involved that we've not seen. But I'm thinking that between the 3 of us, we'd have Christmas pretty wrapped up for one another. Just swapping out our dupes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give y'all a Tom plush.
That's not what I meant.
Or the glow-in-the-dark stars.
Yeah. I'm kind of interested in those glow-in-the-dark stars.
Yeah, and we'll keep an eye on it and let you know if we've seen anything else released.
So,
we'll definitely be tracking it for Black Friday.
In your opinion, value-wise, I mean, the last box had 3 or 4 items. This seems to have a little bit more. Do you think it's $10 additional? I mean, where did the $30 come from? I remember seeing that at some point.
I mean, the Funko boxes at GameStop, they've had a couple of $30 ones. There's a Kingdom Hearts one that comes out, I believe, on the same day or the week after. That's $30.
Okay.
But I feel like it comes with more stuff than glow-in-the-dark stars and a button.
Yeah, I feel like that's not enough to go from 20. If they're 20, I'm going to be on board.
Sure. Yeah.
30, I'm going to check eBay first.
Yeah, I feel like 30 is a little high for what comes in the box other than the pops, because, I mean, we would get I used to do the subscription service, and that was 30, and I felt like it came with more, I guess, quality stuff than what was coming in there. So 20 for me is a good price point, and if it's any cheaper than that, I would be even happier.
Yeah, and I don't think these are. It is Black Friday, and I don't think this is something like you'd have to wait in line or go out and get immediately. There's been like mixed reaction from the different Funko groups online. Where, I mean, if you're a Disney Afternoon fan, you think these are the greatest. Like us, we think these is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. But
not everybody is Disney Afternoon fans, and I've read a lot of Funko people that are. I'm glad I'm saving money. At least I don't have to buy this. So,
which we've said the last couple of comic conventions.
Yeah. So we'll see how fast these go, or if they'll eventually be on sale, even more than $20.
So we need to put together a strategy for sure. I am excited about these. I like them. So we'll see. We'll be staying on top of it. Now we're assuming we might have seen all 5 characters at this point. There may be another one, but as of right now, we think this might be it.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything from the Ducktales franchise, which I would have thought with all the Disney Afternoon paraphernalia and stuff that they have released.
Right.
That is the only one that is really missing. So it would have been cool to get like a Mrs. Beakley or something. But nothing has leaked from Ducktales yet.
So since it hasn't released yet, and we've got a few days, and I would assume that unless this employee is already being prosecuted, that we might see that leak, or from another employee or something, coming up soon. What might be your predictions? You think Miss Beakley?
No, I would say Glomgold.
I'm thinking Glomgold as well.
Glomgold would make a great addition. Also, I would like to start seeing some 2017 Ducktales coming in.
Yeah, but hopefully that's not retro yet.
No.
We haven't seen
that was retro.
We haven't seen Funko do anything with the 2017. I kind of feel like Fat Mojo has that locked in right now. I'm not sure how that if there what kind of licensing deals they might have going on.
Yeah, I would say it will definitely happen at some point. Some 2017 merch, but it seems to take a little. Like they're not there when initially when stuff releases. They usually wait a year or two. It took forever for Gravity Falls pops to appear.
Hey, walk in the Disney store today and look at all the Wreck-It Ralph stuff. It's crazy, but there wasn't that much stuff with the original movie. I don't think.
No, I think they had the hands, the Wreck-It Ralph hands you could buy, and that was probably it.
Yeah, now it's everywhere. You walk through the store and there's Wreck-It Ralph stuff on almost every shelf because people have carried it around the store and sat it down, but it's everywhere. A lot of cool looking stuff, but they go all in on sequels for sure. And you know what? We're in the second season of DuckTales, so maybe we start seeing a little bit more. We've already got a lot, though, with the Fat Mojo series. I'd love for Funko to get a hold of the license, too, though.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for, though, because then there'll be like 20 pops released at a time.
Well, that was my reaction to this. I was like, all right,
Yeah,
there's going to be a a new one. And then, oh, all right, there's going to be two. And by the third one, I was going, wait a minute.
Yeah. We already have $100 worth of pops now from just its release, so we'll see.
Yeah.
If you get no dupes, which ain't going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen because they're not going to ship them with no dupes.
Right. I mean, Jason Inquires replied to something that I think it was last year or the year before. He bought 5 mystery boxes, and 4 of them were the same.
Oh, man. It'd be 4 gargoyle ones for me, too. Oh, okay. Well, so, we'll definitely be covering that more. We also want to point out that currently through the 16th, so yes, by the time this podcast comes out, this sale should still be live. TeePublic's having a sale site-wide, 30% off. That includes our Ducktalks merchandise. We just recently had commissioned Brian Danger to do a redesign of our logo and our characters, and you can buy them on t-shirts, sweatshirts, coffee mugs. There's no mouse pads on there. That's kind of odd to me. Stickers, things like that. These look phenomenal. Pirate worked on getting this on TeePublic's website. Are you enjoying your shirts?
I am enjoying my shirts. They get a lot of great compliments. And of course, that's Brian Danger artwork that we commissioned from him. And every time we put something out there with him, people love it. And I went to Epcot today, and I saw somebody wearing a Gizmo Duck shirt.
Was it the one that I posted about on Twitter, the retro? That's a cool shirt.
It's from Box Lunch. And then I also saw somebody wearing the Coles Scrooge McDuck shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. I was like, as much as I geeked out about that, if I ever am in public and I see somebody wearing a Duck Talk shirt or at a convention or something, let me tell you, I will be geeking out, taking pictures, and free hugs for that. Or fist bumps, whatever you prefer.
Yeah, depending on whether or not it's flu season.
It's true.
It's your call. Absolutely. If I come across one, I don't know what I'll do. But they're cool. They're great looking shirts. If you've not seen them, you can go over to Twitter at Ducktalks. We've posted a link to the sale, but there's also images of the artwork. It's awesome artwork. We love it. Brian did such an amazing job for us. It's the background on my phone, and I love it. It's great. We've talked for an hour, but we have an episode to talk about. Are you guys ready for this recap?
Let's do it.
Everybody goes, oh no, recap. How did I forget about this? Or at least Josh did. All right, gentlemen, choose your poison or your number.
3.
It was just 3. I'm gonna pick 1.
Are you kidding me? It is a 2.
2? Yeah, 2 is gets picked often.
But see, I feel like people are just going to get bored with me doing it every week. All right, here we go. Let me bring up my.
I think last week.
I did last week.
Yeah, you did it last week.
And I picked number 2.
All right, stopwatch. Ready. The family travels to Brazil for the Feast of the Flower. We did not see Launchpad crash. They are there to meet up with Donald's college band members, Jose and Panchito. Donald used to be one of the Three Caballeros. Donald lies about being a billionaire, and Webby figures out that the plant is going to eat them. Donald comes clean with his friends, and they were lying too. They defeat the plant by singing their theme song. 29-25.
Nice.
Great episode. Might be my favorite for season 2. Visually stunning. We're going to get into more. Let me first talk about the production. And this episode was written by Madison Bateman. A very humble writer, that Madison Bateman. We still love her work. Storyboards by Vince Aparo, Emmy Cicerega, and Ben Holm. Directed by Tanner Johnson.
Yay.
A lot of our favorites. Honestly, everyone that works on this show is our favorite. A lot of hard work goes into these episodes. I did not look to see which animation studio did the animation, but it was phenomenal. And I know that I saw a tweet about how Sean Jimenez and his team did a fabulous job. That opening scene with those colors in that jungle was just amazing. And then, of course, they did something similar later in the episode with that theme song. It was just great. I loved every minute of this episode from start to finish. It was a lot of fun. I just wanted to give a quick, you guys want to give a quick review, and then we'll take a look at what other people said?
There was absolutely zero Launchpad and Glomgold in this one.
Although we know Launchpad had to fly them there.
It's true, but it was fantastic. It kind of reminded me of McMystery and McDuck Manor. How they were able to do a whole episode pretty much in a circular town where it was such a tiny space and backgrounds, and they were to put a whole episode in a little area, which I thought was really great. I love the line where Scrooge is making fun of Donald's garage band, and Donald's like, I was awesome.
The Three Caballeros, Donald's old college band. They practiced their polyphonic pandemonium in my garage for hours on end. Oh, the next time you complain about bagpipes, just imagine trying to sleep while your uncle saws away at an accordion.
I was so awesome.
and puts the sunscreen under his eyes.
In his
or on his bill. And it says party foul, FOWL. Oh, this episode's so great.
So that was great. I mean, Three Caballeros having the song in there was fantastic. It flowed really well. It's not anything they forced in there.
We're three caballeros, yes, three caballeros. They say we are birds of a feather. We're happy amigos, no matter where he goes. Yeah. One, two, and three, we're always together. We're three happy chappies with snappy serapis. You'll find us beneath.
And I love these characters. I can't wait to see more. I'm on the Panchito and Jose hype train now.
Yeah, I thought it was a great episode. I love the singing in it. I hope we get more songs of some sort in the series. I know we've gotten a few in season 1 and this one in season 2. And like you guys were saying earlier, the colors in this episode was fantastic. And I'm being a long-time fan of the Three Caballeros. I actually loved their rendition of the characters and thought it was a lot of fun and a good modern take on them. And I kind of called it as we were watching. I mean, my wife were watching it, and I was like, I think they're all trying to make themselves seem better than they actually are, and it turned out they're all kind of lying to each other to make them seem like they're more successful than the other. But it was a lot of fun, and I thought that. I hope that we do get to see these characters again in the series.
It has been confirmed by Frank Angonez on either Twitter or Tumblr that they will be on again. I think they may have already recorded their lines, or they're coming in to record lines for another episode. So it has been confirmed they will be back.
Yeah, the voice actors were really great. They're different from the ones that did the Legend of the Three Caballeros.
The what? What are you talking about? I'm just kidding.
Some show that might be on the new Disney Plus, but I'm hyped for that now even more.
Yeah, and one of these days I'm going to get used to talking about reviewing episodes of this show. The Town Where Everyone Was Nice is the title of the show. But so many great things that I could say about it. I loved every minute of it. And you're right, these characters were phenomenal. I love their take on it. There was a little bit of a spin on the characters with them being college roommates or college buddies in a band. Lexi was asking me later, we were hanging out, and she said, so did the Three Caballeros movie take place while they were in college? And I was like, that kind of works. So yeah, we could say that. They were on spring break in college or something. But it does kind of work, and that's what's cool about this show is how they take from things just enough to be able to relate to the source material and yet put their own spin on it. I really did enjoy that. One thing that I wanted to point out, we got an email from Rafaela, who has written into the show a few times, and we were discussing earlier this week about the episode and just a few of the things that were in the teaser, and we're going to do a blog about that this week. Some of the Brazilian things that maybe people in the States might not catch, who have maybe never been there or studied the culture. I know I missed a lot of what she pointed out. But one thing that I thought was really cool that she told us about, the bill when they're at the restaurant, it was 251. I don't even know how these numbers work. 25147. Brazilian currency. So whatever that number is, I mean, I want to say 25,147, but the comma's in a different place, so I don't know if that's correct in Brazil. Anyway, the Brazilian currency, that currency in dollars, it was far less, because Scrooge says that Donald paid 35,147 U.S. currency. But that would not be correct if you were to convert that money. It's only $67.35. But if you remember, Donald said he was going to leave a big tip. So, significant tip there of about, $35,000 for that individual. She wasn't overly excited, though. I wonder what happened to that money. Anyway.
I guess Scrooge throws his back out because he tries to act old, and then the line of dialogue where the plant stretches him out again and his back cracks normal, and he goes, "That's better." I feel like that sounded so much like Scrooge McDuck in a great job of voice acting there. Yeah,
and the animation on that was phenomenal too. Just the look in his face and the way he kind of contorts around to then jump into the action is really, really cool. And one of the things I liked about the episode is while Scrooge was acting old and he kept smacking Donald, it was just great because that's what he would do when given the opportunity to have an excuse to smack him around, and Donald can't do anything. Hey, we did ask that friends on Twitter and listeners reach out to us using the hashtag 3cabstalk for this episode of Ducktalks. So let's read a few of these. I will read at Grim Phantom. Now this is Ivan Sanchez. Ivan says, it was a fun episode. They really balanced all the characters so well and have their moments, not just the main attraction of the Three Caballeros, but also the rest, like Scrooge, Huey, Dewey, and Webby, had some great moments. That's absolutely true. It would be easy for the Three Cabs to steal the scene in this episode, but Webby was great. She's the one that figures out the mystery first and starts warning everyone. A little disappointed that she was one of the earliest ones captured, but I'm gonna say that's just because she was so surprised. She said at the beginning of the episode that the fact that this was something she knew nothing about was what intrigued her. We already talked a little bit about how great Scrooge is, and of course Donald is. Huey and Dewey and Louie, the story there was a lot of fun with the boys. Dewey and Louie were taking pictures of everything and not really being in the moment of this, exotic location where they were in this town in Brazil, and they were just so focused on what it would look like on social media that they weren't taking it in. And Webby made a lot of social commentary about that. I think at one point Louie says, "I can't wait to get home and watch this," and she's like, "You could be watching it right now." I feel that way sometimes. There's there's times where I'm just like, let's put our phones up, and we may miss some fun pictures, but we'll have the memories instead. And I think that was great commentary. I enjoyed that part of the episode, and it was funny. There were a lot of funny moments out of that.
At Lynette Okaroki says she has so many favorites, but absolute favorite was when the Three Cabs used their less than average quality vocals to defeat the villain. Tony Anselmo did such a great job singing as Donald, I thought.
It was. It still sounded horrible, but it was great, and it was supposed to be.
I think it was Donald's voice that made the planet explode.
Yeah, I think Huey points that out, that it was Donald's voice that was doing it. It was a lot of fun with the cab singing.
All right, well, the next one is Fui. Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's actually one of Pink Pearl's other accounts.
Okay. It's Pink Pearl Apple. She writes, I loved it, but you guys know I'm biased as they're my favorite Ducktales characters. I'm happy they've been listed as recurring. And Crank said they're... Oh, it's supposed to be Frank.
It's supposed to be Frank. She'll enjoy that we did that. Go ahead.
And Frank said that they're recording them for season 3. So excited. So has it been confirmed for season 3, or is it going to be later in season 2?
I think it is season 3.
Because I know previously when we first started the podcast, they were still finishing up season 1 as the episodes were airing. So I was kind of confused as to if they're still in production for season 2 or season 3 has already started production.
Yeah, I think they have started. I can't remember where, and I'm looking right now on his Tumblr. I can't remember where Frank said that it was going to be, that the Cabs were coming back, but I'm pretty sure it was season 3. But we are very excited to have them in season 3 as well. And hopefully they do come to Duckburg. So I've got, this is Drakewing Muck, goes by Quivering Quack. And they said, I always laugh when they all don't want to pay the bill. And that whole scene was a lot of fun. With once they get done eating, and I thought it was fun even before then because the boys are busy taking pictures and let their food get cold, and then Webby's just really put off by it, saying, you've got this great, delicious food here, and you're not even going to eat it. And Dewey's like, it's cold now, and she's like, I'm going to enjoy all of it then. And then you've got Donald ordering mac and cheese at the restaurant, and Huey kind of jumps in because he's trying to help Donald with his whole billionaire ruse, and orders him something authentic to Brazil. And actually, based on something Rafaela sent us, something authentic to Bahia, which goes to further point out, and there's a few other things that she mentioned, that the episode is in I don't remember the name of the town that they used, but it's a fake town, and it's meant to be in Bahia. But anyway, that whole scene's funny, and yes, the part where they don't want to pay the bill because they're all they're all broke and acting like they're well off. So, and of course they leave it to the billionaire, and which leads to another great scene where he's trying to get Scrooge's wallet, and he keeps smacking his hand.
Yeah,
and then Huey climbs under there, and they're smacking Huey, and Huey bites Scrooge. Oh man, that was hilarious. I'll go ahead and read Joanna's because I already got it open. Joanna says, I enjoyed this episode. Next time, I hope Panchito and Jose appear in Duckburg. Yeah, we said that. We agree with that 100%. I think that'd be a fun episode. I want to hear more about these guys' college life, with their band and everything. Somebody want to read? It looks like we got a Caballeros fan writing to us.
Yeah, I see that. I can read it.
Okay.
It's Caballeros _ and their thing says, I really like cartoons. It says, I really had no air when I saw this episode. See, my favorite characters in a current drawing made me scream and run like crazy and make me happy. Will they have appearances in other designs? It would be incredible. They are back.
Yeah, I think they are back. I really did enjoy these characters when we visited Walt Disney World a few months back, and my family really enjoyed them. And we play the Three Caballeros songs on around our house all the time and in the car. And I'm really excited to see this rumored show that may or may not be coming to the streaming service next year, that everyone seems to know a little bit about. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope everyone makes sure that they're watching it when it airs. That could be important. But I love that they introduced them to DuckTales. I love this universe that they're creating. I am glad they're in this show, and looking forward to what they may do in the future.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see these characters again, and they're kind of a long lost set of characters that they're getting introduced again to this generation, and hopefully that kind of kickstart them to continue to have their own series.
So I would say that's a success. Hey, we've got a couple things for Frankly Speaking, and then we're going to wrap this episode up. It is the longest episode in a while, before the edit anyway. I thought this was hilarious. I found this on Tumblr. Frank and Gonez, who we named Frankly Speaking after, was asked who kept calling Panchito. Because, that was a big deal. We didn't talk about that. Panchito had 2 phones in his holsters instead of guns, because you can't use guns in 2018. And, it was a funny gag because he kept getting calls and saying it was his manager, and he'd toss his phone up and throw his hip out and it'd fall into the holster. So Frank was asked, who was it? And Frank says, a very angry parent trying to appease dozens of 6-year-old partygoers.
That's what I figured it was them wondering why he wasn't at the birthday party. I kind of figured that's what it was. Because
he confessed at the end of the episode that's where he was supposed to be. So I thought that was great. A little behind the scenes, finish out the joke. Now, we were also going to look at one other thing Frank said. He was asked, this one was on Twitter. He wasn't asked. This is when he was posting on Saturday, because Frank loves to give a little bit of behind the scenes on the episodes, and especially the stuff that he was really into, excited about. I don't know that he worked on this episode much, but he was really excited about it. And but he said that they had a good idea. The dance fight was perfect, but it wasn't the first pitch. It wasn't the first idea. He said they originally talked about the plant using spores to make our trio hallucinate, and that they would be in some kind of ideal wonderland, and he would shoot them with live action actors in a full tribute to the Cabs films. So there would be like live action actors, the Three Caballeros, and I guess Saludos Amigos also have live action actors dancing around and carrying on as well. And they would snap out of it when they realized the real woman was trying to eat them. So apparently the plant would have become a woman, and would have been hilarious if they'd gotten to use the actors who play the characters. Would have been a great meta type experience. And then he says, as with all the best ideas, it was deemed confusing. I could see that. Prohibitively expensive. I could see that. And impossible to produce. And a terrible idea. And he says, still a man can dream. I don't know who said it was a terrible idea, because I don't think it's a terrible idea, but it from a production wise, I could see it being difficult.
I like Ben Schwartz's idea about doing the Three Amigos My Little Buttercup scene.
Is that from Saludos Amigos, or was that from Three Caballeros?
That's from the Three Amigos with Martin Short, Chevy Chase.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I totally didn't catch that.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been awesome.
And El Guapo. I mean, that'd be hilarious. I recommended that they put that on the bonus features on the DVD.
Oh, man. That was a great episode. It's going to be hard to top that one. Next week, Storkules and Duckburg. I think that's going to do it for us again this week. We appreciate everyone listening to the show. If you enjoyed yourself, please give us a like or a rating, or however your podcatcher says that you enjoyed yourself listening to our podcast. Please do that. Also, if you're listening to us on YouTube, give us a like, a subscribe, ding the bell, give us a comment. We'd like to get some feedback from you. We know we did a poll this week, and it seems like a lot of people are listening on YouTube, so we appreciate that. Josh is doing a good job with that, getting the episodes up there. And look for new content coming. We've got some things recorded that hopefully will get edited soon and up. I just got to get to it. You can also check us out, Ducktalks.com. That's our blog. You're going to find information about these Funko Pops there, that's for sure, and a lot of things that we talked about. You can also check us out on Twitter at Ducktalks. We have our personal accounts. I am at Infinirama616 on Twitter.
I am at the Pirate Steven.
You can find me at CCRunner524.
I believe that's going to do it for this week. Till next time.
Stay gone, golden.
Good night, guys.
Ducktalks is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Any sounds or audio clips played on this podcast are the property of their copyright holders. It's the week of Monday, November 11th, and you're listening to episode 49 of Ducktalks. That's not right. It's not the 11th.
It's the 12th.
It's the 12th.
It's the week of the 11th.
Oof. On this week's episode of Duck Talks, we have Storkules and Duckburg. I can't say that apparently. Hold on.
Excellent.
We've lost Pirate. He's like, I'm not getting involved in this.
Yeah.
All right. We did the intros. All that just came afterwards getting cut out.
Cut that out.
Yeah. We'll cut that out. I'm in my talking mode, and it just won't stop. I don't know how to turn it off.
It's going to be a long edit.
No, fixing it right now. All right, now. Because this is the first time you. Sorry, I'm producing right now. This is the first time you talk because I'm cutting out all the stuff about our side conversation out. So
Okay.
Go.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Meanwhile, So, not so. I got a notification that there's new edits to the notes.
Hold on.
Are you adding something that I need to know about?
Just read the just read the last one.
Are you trying to put
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Why would you give me this one again?
I was trying so hard to get that in there while y'all were talking.
Well, I saw it updating and like doing all kinds of. There's like a graph in here now.
I'm trying to figure out how to do it.
A table or something. If you enjoyed yourself, please give us a like. Man, I'm not good at this part. If you enjoyed ourselves, Josh has got to get to dinner.
We're three caballeros, yes, three caballeros. They say we are birds of a feather. We're happy amigos, no matter where he goes. Yeah. The 1, 2, and 3, we're always together. We're three happy chappies with snappy serapis. You'll find us beneath our sombreros. We're brave and we stay so. We're bright as a beso. We say so. We're three caballeros.